Hello and welcome to Bleeding Tree Gaming. My name's Amy, aka Warpfiend, and today I'm joined by...
I'm Luke, aka Sir Mime.
Lovely. And today we are talking about our experiences at Warhammer World, trying out Age of Sigmar 4th edition. Now, we went on the Saturday, we got to play a game of Spearhead and a game of the regular 4.0.
It was a grand day out. Day out for all the family, literally.
Yes. Luke brought his family with him, which was really nice to spend time there. We got to do the painting class while we were there to paint some warpstone.
That was fantastic. Absolutely loved it.
Yes. So, first off, we played a game of Spearhead, and we had about an hour for this one.
Yeah, this was definitely the one we got the most time for, wasn't it? It was.
Yeah. Now we were surprised all the boards weren't just the Stormcast versus Skaven from the new box. We actually ended up playing Slaves to Darkness.
Yes.
Against
Gloomspite Gits.
Gloomspite Gits, yeah. And it was really fun. Now all of us were on one team against two strangers. But yeah, it was the game seemed fun. Seemed really intuitive.
Fast paced as well. Like obviously, like we all had to look at our sheets first of all and kind of get our bearings with certain things, but it did start flowing really quickly as soon as we got down to grips with it, didn't it?
Yes, it does seem like a lot of the things Games Workshop have said about this in the hype could very well turn out to be true. It does seem to be a very fast-paced way of playing games that's just got that kind of fun and engagement in it with kind of flavorful moves, put in each character sheets like abilities and that. All of the abilities seemed pretty flavorful. I will say the Slaves to Darkness one seemed to touch on the strong side. The guy convinced was saying to us, "No, Gloomspite Gits have been winning all day," but
we went in there and we just broke the whole system.
Yeah. Now, what we were talking about is the marks of chaos, which seem to just pile up on people rather quickly.
I couldn't believe that wasn't until like the end of the turn. That's just like once you get the blessing, it's then for the rest of the game for that unit.
Yes.
And getting that blessing was like so easy to do as well.
Yeah, and you get like one from each god, but they actually stack, so you can get 4 and an undivided one, so 5 total, which turns a unit which is already... You know, Chaos Knights aren't a weak unit.
Going into that, I was like, how are they going to balance the Vanguard / Spearhead box of Slaves to Darkness against other Vanguard boxes? Because Slaves to Darkness, you know, pretty much everything's on a free up save. Chaos Knights hit like an absolute freight train. They're like a nightmare to fight against in the main game of Age of Sigmar at the moment.
Yep, we just wiped out a unit of 3 Trogroths before they even had chance to fight back.
I mean, they're on an extra wounded piece now, the Rockgut Trogoths, still with their 5-up ward. And the second we got that Chaos Blessing to give us an extra pip of rend on the Lances...
Yeah.
Doing rend-free flat 2 damage on the charge against them. It was absolutely ridiculous.
Like, I'm not gonna... We only played one game as one side, and like, taking in good faith what the organisers said, it is possible things did go a bit one-sided in our favour, but if there is things that are going to easily break it like that are so easy to achieve.
This wasn't it. We had like a once per game thing that started at the very start of the first battle round. I think we had to roll potentially, wasn't it? Like I can't remember what it was. We had to roll something to be able to give one unit on the board of our choosing one of the blessings.
I think it might have been like a 4-up one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I seem to remember it was like fairly high, but like my daughter managed to roll like 4.
Yeah,
the team we were against, they just had all these dice being rolled at them by a 4-year-old, and they were just like, "Oh, I can't even be mad. We can't even be mad."
Yes, yeah, it's good really for kind of like easing the tensions when you're giving someone that kind of stomping that we ended up doing. Just like have a 4-year-old to take the heat for you, because no one could be mad at them.
But then it was, I think it was every hero phase. It might have been every one of our hero phases. The actual Chaos Lord could potentially give himself a blessing.
Yes. There was,
and then
like,
it was
3 different ways of getting these blessings.
And it was like the end of every turn. If we were contesting if a unit contested an objective that had no enemies contesting it, or if one of our units had killed an enemy unit, then they could roll on the table as well. It was ridiculous.
It seemed like from one game, it seemed very unbalanced, but I'd have to play more to know.
I kind of wish I'd have been able to look at the stat cards for the Gloom Spites a bit more and maybe work out like maybe what they might have done slightly, what unit they could have hit us with that would have done loads of damage. I mean, the trolls definitely would have done something if we'd let them.
Yes.
But they had the Boingrot Bounders, and 2 units of them charged us on the first turn, I think. Because the board's the board's a really like compact size.
Oh yeah, you can easily first turn charge.
If you've got anywhere near decent movement on a unit, they're getting into combat turn 1 if you want them to. It's like, but like Boingrot Bounders are like amazing things in a Gloomspite Git army, and I was so surprised that I think they killed 2 Chaos Warriors.
Yes, yeah, they just fairly much like.
That was it. I think we struck back with the knights on the opposite side, and even without like the extra damage buff, we just cut through them all.
Yeah. So it seemed very much like that was one-sided. I'd be very interested to know what happened, because he could have just charged everything straight into us and taken out some key units. Like, there's other ways that the opponent could have played it, but it seemed in terms of force, like it would be quite hard to actually get the victory.
Unless it's just like, I don't know, unless the Chaos ones, there were certain things that were coming up, like with the tactics cards and everything, where it was like specifically said more bodies on, like, again, controlling something.
Yes.
And I was like, well, that's where the Gits are going to shine, because they'll easily get more models on an objective or whatever than us.
Yeah, absolutely. It didn't really come down to that too much, because we just kind of swept across the objectives and claimed them all. But
it's like they had like the recursion and everything, where they could bring back the regular gobos. Like, I'm quite surprised the squigs didn't have like the recursion thing to come back.
That might have balanced it a bit more, I think. But yeah, we're all waiting for these full rules to come out and see if it really does match up to that. I've got more doubts about it being balanced than I did previously, but I will say it was really fun to play.
I think a lot of it probably came with them just pushing those trolls up the field without anything blocking the trolls off from the Chaos Knights.
Yeah.
I want to say that's what happened, really. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to playing more of it. To be fair, it was the thing I was the most hyped to trying out the 2 game modes, and it was really good fun. It seemed really one-sided for us, but it was really good fun.
Yes. Now, our two games overlapped slightly. I think one started quarter past two and the other one started 3. So we missed the first 15 minutes of one. I believe it was the Games Workshop employee was just playing against the other fella.
Yeah, we arrived as the Skaven player was just entering his shooting phase, which
yes.
When the guy started reeling off some statistics, I was thinking, oh, we've come in at the roughest time here, haven't we? It's like, from what I understand, everyone that's been able to play like the actual 4th edition game so far has only really got like a turn each or something, and that did marry up with like what we ended up getting out of it, really.
Well, I ended up getting a bit less than that because I was a bit tired at the time, and I went out for a ciggy, and ended up missing most of it, really.
We've had this one, like, we turned up, the game had already started, there was just masses of paper all the way around the table with the rules on. And even I was getting to the point where I was just like, oh dear, I'm never gonna make head and tail of this in time. But...
Yes, I just couldn't focus my brain at that point on rules. I needed a bit of a break.
Luckily, the member of staff did give me a couple of hints on like things I could do to, turn things around slightly and everything. But what's it called? Is the Ruination Chamber Lord the one that's like the buffed up version of the Reclusian?
Yeah, the fiery one here at the back. Is that or?
I can't remember if it was him. It was the one that's got like the axe facing down. He's in the bottom left corner of that screenshot.
Yes, I see him there.
I think that was him that dished out some kind of buff once per game that let one of your units fight twice, but obviously you gain the strike last effect on the second time that you're fighting. Put that on the Reclusians, and they just swept through anything that actually charged into us. It was ridiculous. I think as well there was it might have been him again, where he had a rule where he activated and then another Ruination Chamber unit activated straight after him.
Okay, yeah.
So the guy charged in his Claw Lord and like a ton of clan rats, and I don't think the Claw Lord even got a chance to swing at me.
Yeah, I think I came in just as the Claw Lord was like one-shotted by them.
That cannon for the Skaven, that has some kind of mechanic where it can be buffed up to firing, I think it was like 4d6 plus 3 shots.
Okay, so that's presumably that's like either got some kind of risk attached to it, or you can only use it a limited number of times.
For every 1 that you roll on the hit roll, it does 1 mortal damage back to the gun.
Oh, right, okay. So yeah, that's about what you'd expect from Skaven technology. It just adds like this fun kind of gambling element to it.
But with the Scryer stuff as well, though, that thing, I mean, it naturally hits on 4s, but obviously you can all out attack that to take it down to 3s. I think it wounded on a 3, but there's like a Scryer sub-faction ability type thing where you can get it to wound on a 2. Yeah. And it's all Ren 1. 1 damage, but I think that thing could potentially shred through something if you're lucky. If you're lucky, you might lose it in the process.
Yeah. But oh, that's just part of the charm of playing Skaven, I think.
As the prosecutors came down, they did some real nice damage with their spears and everything. The guy was telling me about the fact that champion keyword in any unit just means they get an extra attack for both their ranged and their melee.
Yep.
I can't remember now as well. There was like one of the characters did a prayer. I have a feeling it could have been like the one with like the fiery sword.
Yeah, maybe that's the Quester. Is that the Night Quester? Yeah.
He did a prayer where he could put like a 5-up ward on
the one
of you.
Oh no, the one at the back's the Night Quester, I think.
one of them had a prayer where you could put like a 5-up ward onto one of your
Mhm.
one of your, oh, why is the name just completely gone from my head now? The Ruination Chamber. Ruination
Yes.
Chamber units.
Spiky helmet guys.
Yeah. But yeah,
Um,
I think now as well, from seeing a couple of things about it, banners, I think, universally just give you 1 extra dice in your what's it called now? The roll where you can bring things back.
the rally.
Yeah, the rally command. You get 7 dice instead of 6 dice if you have a banner in the unit.
Yes, I saw that, and there's an extra rule for having like a musician that was similar. I believe it was.
I'm not sure if magician's just magician. The musician. I'm not sure yet. I have a feeling musician might just be like a plus to charge, maybe.
No, musician. I saw it on there. It was also a buff to rally, but I think it was a different one. I
Okay.
can't remember what it was. I believe it was like
Maybe
plus
like a
1
lower
to your
dice
roll,
or something.
plus 1 to your roll, or something like that.
Oh, that'd be good. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, both of those are buffing your rallies specifically as their role. I didn't see any other rules for them anywhere, so you've got to assume that.
It did look a bit rough for the old Lord on Griftstalker when I was coming in, though, because he doesn't seem to have like any kind of ward naturally or anything, and he was just being targeted by everything on the scheme side that could shoot him. It was.
How did the Jezzails fare?
I can't remember if they'd shot. I think they might have shot before we came in.
Okay.
I have a feeling the only thing I actually was there to be shot by was the new Warpstone gun and the Clawlord fired his rattling gun at me as well. That was quite spicy.
Right. I was interested how that'd go.
I think it's only like a 10-inch range or something, but it's got a
Is it like a fire in combat weapon?
I think it did have fire in combat as a rule for it. I was hesitant of putting any attacks into the Clawlord as well, because I'd seen on the Spearhead live stream on Friday that if he has any damage allocated to him, you add 3 to his attacks characteristic.
That is an interesting one. I didn't see that myself.
I did check it with the guy that was playing the Skaven at the time. I was like, so if I hurt you, you're actually going to be able to get more attacks against me when we're going into it. He was like, yes, that is right.
So overall, like, compared to the current edition of Age of Sigmar, how do you think it fares?
It's it's pretty hard to say from just like playing one round of it. Yeah. I don't think any of us. I don't think anyone's played any battle tactics in any of these demo games or anything yet to see.
No.
Yeah, it does seem really good though. Like the thing they keep on saying is the selling point about everything that the enemy does in their turn. At the end of that phase, you've got the chance of doing that yourself. So like the movement phase, you've got redeploy at the end of that. The shooting phase, you've got the suppressing fire. Charge phase, you've got the counter
suppressing fire.
Which that is another thing that I kind of, I don't know, my I just couldn't think of that still happening when I was playing it, and then I suddenly just realised, oh yeah, that rattling gun's going to fire at me again now. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting the hands on the actual full rule book and just having a full-on game of it soon.
Just from what I saw, and my memory wasn't great, and I didn't stop around for much of the game, it seemed like the rules were, seemed to be simpler, easier to follow.
Oh yeah. There was that flow chart, wasn't there, at the far left of the table?
Yes, there was like a flow chart telling you what you have to do in each step, and they very well broke it down. Even though all the abilities are color coded, it was fairly. I thought I didn't have to remember the colors, so hopefully it didn't confuse you too much.
If I didn't struggle in that Warpstone class.
Yes.
Yeah, we've finally got the last Dawnbringer Crusade book going up for pre-order this weekend. So
yes, that finally appeared.
The last releases of the edition.
Yeah, if anyone's going to be playing with the rules in there, good luck to them. You have probably about 6 weeks to do so.
Oh, yes. I mean, I think they are saying though that. I remember, I swear I watched something earlier about someone that they said they've got to play Flesh Eater Courts in the Spearhead game, and they said, like, don't worry, the Flesh Eater Courts rules are fairly similar to what they are now in the Spearhead Index. So okay. I'm hoping if they are releasing stuff so late on in the edition now, that the rules that will carry over into the next one will be fairly similar, so you're not actually... Yeah,
that would be handy of them.
Not feeling like you're losing something going into the new edition straight off the bat.
Yes, exactly. Like, you don't want them to do like massive changes to you in this, because they tend to be like kind of not as well thought out as when they're just focusing on the one faction and just like in the name of like overall like big picture balance. Which can be good or bad. So yeah, I think the latest codexes, particularly the ones that have worked, are going to have some similar rules.
It's going to be interesting to see how balanced this comes out the gate at.
Yes, definitely.
It's like Spearhead, they do keep on mentioning that it's like the most balanced thing that they've ever done, but changing the army for a full 2,000 point game. It could be interesting to see how it happens.
Yes. So long as it's not like actively a worse player experience, which I have every faith in the design team that it's not going to be. I think we can all take a few imbalances that will then get fixed in codexes, but obviously the better it comes out the gate, I think the better for the hobby. So no one wants to be playing with bad rules.
Yeah, we just don't want like an Eldar situation in 10th edition 40k.
Oh God.
But yeah, I don't know. Are there any other thoughts you had about?
Yeah, I mean,
hopes for the edition.
Just to sum it up, basically, then I'll say that like I'm definitely looking forward to this edition. I had a lot of fun getting to know the game in 3rd edition, and people tell me that was like objectively not as good as 2nd edition. I have no way of judging that. I think I played one game of 2nd edition, so
honestly, I only started on this edition, so I've got nothing really to say.
Yeah. I mean, fingers crossed that the people who thought 3rd kind of overcomplicated it a bit too much get the kind of thing they want with these kind of simplified everything in ability format style that they're going for. It does seem at a glance just like, because a lot of the things the rules they had printed out there were fairly much just like the cheat sheets I end up making for myself to get myself through tournaments in 3rd. So it's nice to see that they've put some thought into just like making this edition as easily playable as possible without constantly worrying about what units have like got whichever kind of chain of things on them. Obviously there is going to be some of that. There is going to be, obviously, from what we've seen already, there's plenty of moments where you're going to be stacking up different buffs on characters, but hopefully it won't get quite as labyrinthine.
I'll get more tokens printed.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I'm worrying about. Like, all the tokens I got at the minute are just going to be obsolete in the couple.
Oh dear.
At least they only cost me like a 60p ago or something.
Yes.
I'm very much looking forward. I want to see like the full list of the battle tactics, like full on. Actually being able to see how you construct an army is something I'm very much looking forward to.
Yes.
I say, and obviously how much of my armies I can field in 2,000-point lists as well. It
looks very much like your. I don't know.
I think they've mentioned now that it's roughly 1,200 points on each side in this box.
Okay, so things might be a little bit cheaper then, I think. It's hard to judge. There definitely wasn't any points anywhere that I'd seen, but I thought they'd mentioned somewhere that like points had gone down a bit.
To be fair, like watching the Skaven versus Lumineth game at 2,000 points, like the Lumineth army did still have quite a few good assets in there.
Yeah.
I mean, they had Alvanor in there as well, so it's just like it's saying that he hasn't probably gone and changed too far in points from what he is now.
Well, that's all for now until we can get more information from the faction focuses. We'll be following up on those as they come out. If you have any thoughts on the edition, if you're looking forward to it, if you think they've absolutely ruined it, please let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, and also, are you looking at starting a new army in the new edition as well?
Yes, very much so. Are you thinking of getting one of the starter forces? I know there's a lot of people who've been holding off to get a Skaven army till some new ones came out. I'm also really tempted by the Stormcast as well. So yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. We be bleeding. I can't even speak now. We be Bleeding Tree Gaming, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.